Brought to you by the Fort St. John Co-op.
Welcome to the show. I'm Dub, and this morning, Camilla from Peaceful Pages from just 2 doors down joins us once again. How are you doing today, Camilla?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for being here on a rainy Thursday. Of course, your business, Peaceful Pages, just celebrated your 2-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
It's probably flew by, I guess, eh?
It did.
If somebody's hearing about you for the first time, tell us a bit about Peaceful Pages. What do you do at Peaceful Pages?
Well, it's primarily a Christian bookstore. We also have a coffee shop inside with a seating area. We have giftware, clothing, kids' toys. We've just brought in Lego, so that was kind of a cool, exciting thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of a nice little store.
Yeah, and I mean, that has evolved
Yeah.
kind of from when it started. I know you've been on here a couple times to talk about Peaceful Pages. I think when you started, you were mostly about books, and that has sort of changed as the years have gone on, eh?
Yeah, like definitely the giftware has expanded, and I've changed things here and there and tried, different suppliers and companies trying to locate more Canadian brands and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've expanded our coffee shop, trying to grow that part of it too, and have more baked goods and more variety of drinks now too, as we're getting better at baristing, whatever that word is. And maybe grown the front a little bit more, like made it more comfortable for seating, and so people can come in and have a quiet place to read, or people come in and use our space for work or school or whatever, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah. And the giftware itself too, I mean, kind of has a Christian worldview focus, if we could say that,
Yep.
So, and I believe you're one of the only places in town who has stuff like that.
Yeah, that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
To have that, like, to be primarily, I'm sure here and there's places that have small portions of that, but we're basically all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, let's go back to the beginning then. Talk a bit about how this project started for you in deciding, you know what I want to do? I want to open a space like this in Fort St. John that before you open it didn't really exist yet, and maybe had previously, but you wanted to bring it back.
Yeah, it did previously, and I guess, like I always say, it came out of a desire for it myself, because I really missed having a Christian bookstore. I just felt like there was a need for it, and I just, me and my family felt just the thirst for that, just to be able to come into a place where you just find some sort of resource that can be hope-filled, or, just kind of a peaceful place. And like I just really missed when we used to have it. And anytime we go somewhere like Grand Prairie or whatever, it's always an important stop for us. So me and my husband kind of were like, we should do that. If we feel like we need it, maybe we need to do it. So,
as an entrepreneur, was this something you'd always thought of maybe doing? You'd like to own your own business? Is this something you'd done previous to this? And this
No.
is sort of,
No, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
It's been a bumpy road, but it's been good. Lots of learning. I've never owned a business, but I did always want to own a business.
Yeah.
I would say it was a few years before we decided that we had toyed with the idea, or like talked about it even, just like owning a Christian bookstore. Like prior to that, I thought I'd open up like a wedding shop or whatever, because I used to work at one and I loved that too. But I don't know, I felt like this definitely was more of a God-led project. It felt like more of I guess a ministry, you would call it, like just wanting to serve God and provide that resource in town, and felt a little bit more important at the time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Did you find then, as the business grew, there were people who said, hey, this would be great if you did this, and then, well, how can we figure out how to provide that then? As in comparison to, say, how it started and how your kind of initial sort of vision for it was.
There's definitely things that I feel like I still want to put the effort into, like making more effort for events and still expanding my coffee shop side and offering more. And there's always things like people are suggesting to bring in, and CDs is one of them. And it's one that I'm still resisting because I'm like, I don't know that that's worth doing. But stuff like that, yeah, definitely trying to. I get a lot of advice and support, and that's really wonderful. But
yeah,
just knowing what avenue to take, and but I am always open to that. Like I love constructive feedback, and like what are people looking for, and wanting to make that a possibility for sure.
And I mean, you've definitely hosted events there. I think you've had story times before. I think you've had some live music in there.
Yeah, we've done worship nights.
And I think you mentioned this already. You there's Bible study a couple times that happens here and there. So you're a place that's open to ideas for events as well, right?
Yeah. I have a couple churches that use our space for Bible study in the evening that rent kind of the front half of it. And I love doing the story times. Those are always really fun to have all the kids come in. And we've done like paint nights and stuff like that. And that's usually fun, especially in the cooler months. Yeah. Something to do in the evening. Definitely open to that too. And I'm always kind of not trying to push people to, but I'm always kind of open if people want to come and play music. Like we love music, so that's always a fun evening too.
Absolutely.
Always open to that.
All right, Camilla. Well, tell us a bit about your hours and when people could come, stop by, check out the books and gifts, and how they can get in contact with you as well if they've got an idea or they'd like to maybe host an event in your shop.
Probably the best way to get a hold of me right now would either be like our Facebook or Instagram. My phone is still not working properly. But we're open for summer. We decided to close for Sunday, Monday now, just to kind of give ourselves those 2 days. But we are Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday, 10 to 4.
Okay.
And I'm definitely, even through summer, it would be fun to host a few worship nights or something like that if someone was interested. Otherwise, just come in. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, is come inside and talk to me.
Absolutely. And we should say quickly, if you are in search of a book, I mean, you do have quite an extensive collection of different things as well. Can we talk about that quickly? So what we can find in the bookstore side of things?
Well, I can get almost anything. Like I'm have quite a few suppliers that I can reach out to and do that. And
so even if you don't have it on the shelf, if it's like, I'm looking for this, you could probably get it for somebody.
Yeah, there's sometimes things that are either out of publication or independent publishing companies that are trickier to get to. And but for the most part, there's not a lot of things that I haven't been able to bring in yet. So So,
but I mean, of course, like you sell Bibles, you have a marriage advice kind of section, kids books, kind of the whole gamut.
Yeah, lots of theology and just Christian living and devotionals, that kind of stuff. Lots of fiction. That's good. And we did start a used bookshelf. I can't remember if we talked about that last time, but I do take used books now, and we have a used bookshelf. So that brings in more variety too. It's kind of interesting.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right. And again, you said the best way to contact you is kind of on social media. You've got Facebook, Instagram. Yes. Or email, like peacefulpagesfsj@gmail.com. That's I'll see that too. It's just the telephone right now that we often miss, and it doesn't ring loud enough, and I can't figure out how to fix that. So yeah. All righty. And of course, the best way, just stop by and see them. 9916 101 Ave. Literally 2 doors down here from Moose Media. So, Camilla, thank you so much for stopping by to talk about Peaceful Pages today. Appreciate your time.
Much. Yeah.
Join us next Thursday for the next edition of Vocal for Local, brought to you by the Fort St. John Co-op. If you have a small business and would like to be featured for free, call us at 787-7100 or email